Maya wiped the dojo floor quietly as the students practiced their moves under the bright daylight streaming through the tall windows. Ethan, the arrogant black belt, looked at her with a smirk as she worked silently. He always looked down on her because she was the only black cleaner in the dojo and because she was poor. Maya didn't respond to his comments because she needed the money to support her younger brother Liam. But today was different. Ethan walked toward her and kicked her bucket, making the water spill across the mats. Everyone stared as Maya froze in shock. Ethan laughed loudly, as if humiliating her was a game. Since Roland frowned but didn't stop him, thinking it was just childish behavior. Ethan suddenly said Maya should fight him for fun, since she was always watching them train. Maya's hands shook because she wasn't a fighter and never imagined being forced into something like this. Liam, who had come to pick her up, saw everything and ran to her side, angry but scared. Ethan mocked them both and said they were weak. Mr. Carter entered the dojo right then, but didn't understand what was happening. Maya whispered that she didn't want to fight anyone and begged Ethan to stop. Ethan pushed her lightly, trying to provoke her for entertainment. Since Roland warned Ethan to stop, but Ethan ignored him and ordered everyone to gather around the mat. Maya felt trapped as the crowd whispered about her skin color and her job. She felt small and powerless. Liam squeezed her hand and said she wasn't alone. The pressure in the room grew heavy as Ethan said the fight would prove whether she even belonged in the same building as them. Maya prayed silently for strength. She looked at the camera and said those who have ever felt bullied should subscribe so their voice can grow stronger. The chapter ends with Ethan stepping forward while Maya stands shaking, not knowing what the next second will bring. Maya stepped onto the mat with trembling legs as Ethan circled her like a predator. Liam watched from the side with fear filling his eyes. Mr. Carter tried to calm Ethan, but the fighter was too arrogant to listen. Since Roland called for silence, hoping to keep things controlled. Ethan launched a quick kick toward Maya, and she barely dodged it as the crowd gasped. Maya breathed heavily because she had never trained in martial arts. Ethan laughed cruelly and said she moved like someone fighting for food scraps. Maya's face burned with shame, but something changed inside her as she remembered all the times people had disrespected her just because she was a cleaner. Ethan attacked again, this time grabbing her arm. Maya twisted out of his grip accidentally, and Ethan stumbled, making everyone gasp again. Maya couldn't believe she had slipped out on instinct. Liam shouted encouragement, telling her she was stronger than she thought. Ethan grew angrier and hit her shoulder, causing her to fall. The crowd whispered harsh comments about her race and her job. Maya wiped her tears and stood up again. Sensei Roland saw something in her eyes that made him step back and allow the moment to unfold. Ethan charged again, but Maya raised her hands to protect herself and somehow blocked his strike. Everyone froze because she moved like someone who had watched martial arts all her life. Maya realized she had observed the techniques daily while cleaning the dojo. Ethan suddenly felt threatened by her newfound confidence. Mr. Carter shouted for them to stop, but Ethan didn't listen. Maya stepped back and said anyone who ever doubted themselves should subscribe right now, because strength often comes from places we don't expect. The chapter ends as Ethan prepares to attack full force, while Maya braces herself with determination she never knew she had. Ethan rushed toward Maya with a powerful strike, but Maya moved with surprising precision, causing Ethan to lose his balance again. The room erupted in shock as they realized Maya was no ordinary cleaner. Liam watched proudly, and even Sensei Roland looked impressed. Ethan grew furious because he couldn't accept losing control in front of everyone. Maya's instincts sharpened, and she finally saw how fear had controlled her life. She blocked Ethan's fist and pushed him back with all her strength. The crowd leaned in, stunned by her courage. Ethan tried to humiliate her again by calling her worthless, but his words no longer reached her heart. Mr. Carter stepped forward to stop the fight, but something about Maya's resilience held him in place. Maya remembered overhearing students talk about feeling mistreated, and she realized Ethan had bullied many people. She felt a responsibility to stand her ground. Ethan attempted one last aggressive move, but Maya dodged it smoothly, and Ethan fell hard on his back. Everyone gasped as the mighty black belt lay defeated. Ethan tried to stand, but his pride was more broken than his body. Sensei Roland stepped in and declared the fight over. Ethan shouted that she cheated, but the room knew the truth. Maya didn't win because she was a fighter. She won because she refused to be stepped on anymore. Liam hugged her tightly, and Maya cried from relief. Mr. Carter approached slowly and asked how she moved like a trained student. Maya explained that she had been watching the classes for years while cleaning the floor. Since Roland looked at her with new respect. Ethan was furious and ashamed. Maya looked at the camera and said those who believe kindness is stronger than hate should subscribe. The chapter ends with Mr. Carter asking Maya to meet him privately because he had something important to tell her. Maya entered Mr. Carter's office nervously while Liam stood beside her. Sensei, Roland, and Ethan also entered, but Ethan kept his eyes lowered. Mr. Carter looked emotional as he slowly revealed the truth Maya never expected. He told her that her late mother had once been a student in the same dojo many years ago, but she had left after facing discrimination similar to what Maya experienced. Maya felt tears roll down her cheeks as she learned her mother had been a talented fighter whose dreams were crushed by racism. Mr. Carter said he regretted not protecting her mother and promised he would not repeat the same mistake with Maya. Ethan looked shocked to discover the cleaner he mocked carried a legacy stronger than his own pride. Since Roland bowed deeply to Maya, apologizing for not seeing her strength earlier. Maya held Liam's hand tightly as her heart filled with hope. Mr. Carter announced that Maya would receive a full scholarship to train at the dojo and a paid position as an assistant instructor once she completed her training. Maya cried openly because she had never imagined being recognized for her worth. Ethan tried to apologize, but Maya simply told him she hoped he would change and treat others better. The students outside cheered for her, and the dojo felt transformed. Maya looked toward the camera with a soft smile and said that anyone who has ever been underestimated should subscribe and stand with her. The story ends with Maya stepping onto the mat with confidence as the sunlight falls over her, symbolizing the beginning of her new journey.